Alright guys, might be a bit of wave noise down here. I'm down at La Mata Beach. This is my office space. Must be, I've got my coffee. I've got to stop wearing these shirts, I look like a monk. But anyway, putting the tiger back in the cage. This is one of the things I will say about unboxing your life, is quite simply, this is my office. I've got my nature reserve over here, I've got the old sand dunes. I've got a massive nature reserve over there. Then I've got everything water related all the way around me here. I won't spin too fast in case anybody gets seasick. But the point being is, this is one of the problems you get, is when you come from this and go back to an office or whatever, you sit there in the office thinking, why am I here? That's one of the first issues. The other thing is, if you're used to being out of the box or being an uncaged person, you also have this issue about peers, or I don't like using the word peers, people that are in charge of you in the office environment, because a lot of them don't actually have much about them, in the sense that their entire lives may have orientated around the work. Or in my industry, a lot of the time they just don't even know what they're supposed to be doing in their job. So when you're coming from being in this sort of environment where you've got to create the job, I mean, let's be honest, most of the time we create our work, we generate our work, we generate our income. Going back to the 9 to 5 and dealing with some of these people can be quite difficult. The same as doing a 9 to 5, because like today, I mean yesterday I had to go up and take April's mother back to the airport, but at the same time, here I am, got up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm here. Because the other thing with a 9 to 5 is people have a clock in, clock off mentality. It's often not even project based, which is one of the things I had an issue with at my last place, because it was agreed it was project based and 90% computer based, etc. Then they go, can you be in the office every day? No. But yeah, it's very hard to go back to a normal, mainstream way of life, because you're used to the freedom, but also you often can deliver it better. What do I mean? It's a bit like a friend of mine. I'm not going to get him in trouble. Works for a company, and a lot of the stuff he does is related to forms and procedures and processes, and he's automated about 95% of it. So the rest of the time, he's actually doing his own projects now. Because is it his fault that he's efficient? No. Company's happy they're getting the work on time and stuff, and they don't even realise they're doing most of it for him, and then he just automates the rest of it. But the point being is, that's us. That's why we're the free ones, because that comes from thinking for yourself, and a lot of companies don't encourage it. They say they do. They say they do. They have a policy for it, but they often are the complete opposite. When I was at Carillion, there was a problem with one of the policies they had, and actually brought it up with a director, and his response was, yes, I agree with you, but do you know how hard it is to change a policy? And it's like, what's the point of it? If you even recognise it's wrong, your excuse is it's too hard to actually do something about it. And that is often the way of business, unfortunately. It's all about, don't rock the boat, just carry on as normal. Carry on regardless. So yeah, be aware, if you do start going down this path, it can be a lot more difficult to put you back in the cage. Because, like this is this morning, then I'm going to go and see about the restaurant today. If you aren't aware, I'm sort of involved with a restaurant here at the moment, building it back up, because when we first moved here, it was run by a guy called Peter, with an I, P-I-E-T-E-R, from Poland. But now it's owned by a Swiss guy called Lucius, and I'm helping Lucius build it up. We do fresh bread and stuff like that, but we're working on that. not my normal type of work, but you know what? All the social media stuff and doing stuff on YouTube and things, it's bringing customers in. So you know, that's the other thing we have, is we have a lot of stuff that we pick up over the years because we don't live in the confines of a lot of these environments, that we find other ways to generate an income beyond local income. You got to look at the majority of this is tourists. The population that's here all year is probably about 30%. People will argue me it's about 50% or whatever, but I'd say it's about 30% of the population are here all year. So you've got to be able to market to people before they even arrive, which is YouTube, Instagram, and all the other bells and whistles, to make them aware there's a fresh bakery, got to start doing fresh burgers, breakfast, and all that sort of stuff. But that's creating the environment so I can be here full time, being uncaged. You know, I couldn't care less about the income on it. If my bills are paid, I'm not fussed. There was something brought up about where I keep my pension and stuff relating to Brexit. And you know what? I'm not reliant on state. I'll be blunt with you. You know, I have no intentions to get to 70 years old and be worrying about my state pension that now would be available at 76 or something. To hell with that. Enjoy life. You'll find a way. I'm taking my pension fund now. I'm retiring now. I'm taking the easier option. Whoop. Bee landing on my hand. I'm taking the option to enjoy life. That's it. If I get to the end and people go, oh, well, Matt, you should have saved money for your pension. Oh, well, so what? I'm still working on saving money, by the way. It's not a case of just thought, oh, I'll live day to day. It's more a case of the way I work is very simple. You work on generating your income that makes you sustainable. From that, you then start pivoting into other stuff, and you start generating other income for your long-term savings, long-term investments. Like I said here, these are all rentals. So the most obvious thing, as I mentioned earlier, is like the maintenance company, is maintaining the properties, air conditioning, renovations, the electrics, all that sort of stuff. There's thousands of these properties everywhere. I mean, I don't know how many properties on the coast. There's a ridiculous amount of properties that require maintenance. So that's what I look at. I mean, you look as far as you can see. There's properties all the way up there. I don't know if you might be doing the camera the wrong way. There you go, all the way up. But the point is, long term, that's what I'm looking at doing. If I can get this restaurant bar running and then build on that, so be it. Because it'll give us a location to set the maintenance office up, but also keeps the bills paid, and the bills are paid, everything on top of that's an extra. But anyway, back on point. Yeah, it's very difficult to go back to a normal life after you've sort of moved away from it, because often there's something that's took you away from it in the first place. And one of the things you've got to recognize is you chose to make that decision. You chose to leave your old life, and often it's driven by, I want to travel for a year or something like that. But once you've done it, it's very difficult to go back to the normal day-to-day stuff. The other bit being is you may be coming out of a divorce, or something else that has driven you to do something that you wouldn't have normally done. Could be health issues. Here is a fantastic place for health-wise, because we sit between these salt lakes and obviously this beautiful thing over here, which means that the sunshine and the salt air are good for you. Yeah, there is often something that drives that change in the first place. Myself, it was a bit random. I've got to admit, when I first moved to the Philippines, it was on a bit of a just do it and see what happens. But going to the Philippines to meet April in the first place, that was all very random and took ages to plan it, and took ages to get there. I planned it multiple times, and then work kept coming in to upset the routine. because something would keep coming up, a bit like the sunrise. But it kept getting delayed because I would do something, then I'd finish a project early and the next one would come in. And that's a prime example of how you get stuck in the ruts, because what happens is work keeps going over the top of your plans. So you keep planning something and then I go, oh, can you do another couple of weeks on this? Which then suddenly becomes 2 years because they keep extending because no one else can do it. But anyway, eventually it happened, and now 12 years in, no regrets. Thanks for watching.